Can you tell me about a little bit about?
Are we on?
We
We're
are.
on now. Can you tell me a little bit about how Founder Church gets started? When? Do you remember when it gets started and how?
Well, it got started as Founder Church. I mean, I've been writing since I was a teenager, but I didn't establish a name, and so when I began to think about what I was doing, I fundamentally believe in serving God and country, because every animal, every plant, and every human has a country. And every animal, every plant, and every human being has a God, whether they like it or not, or whether they accept it or not, or they could call their God Allah, they could call their God lots of different names. And I think Jesus has a dozen or two names that are listed in the Bible.
Right.
So that's how I came to think, well, what would it be a name that would represent what I want to do? I want to serve God and country. And the reason why is because every human being, plant, and animal has a God and a country. A carrot growing in a carrot patch has a country, his carrot patch. That's where his children are, that's where his parents are, that's where he has a society, his children are there, and that's his country, the carrot patch. People say, well, it doesn't have a flag and it doesn't have an army. How could it be his country? It's his country. Effectually, he defends it against insect and different types of predators, whether they be insects which kill him and prevent his reproduction or his children. And so he performs most of the functions of a country in the carrot patch. So therefore, everyone has a country. And therefore, I believe that the structure of life on planet Earth is a lot of countries. We have 200 or 300 countries in the United Nations. We have all kinds of countries with all kinds of ideology. And so, therefore, the rules of self-defense are employed by the carrot patch against predators who might want to come and eat the carrots. You know, genocide the carrots in the carrot patch. And the carrot's not necessarily happy with that. So, in the same way with God, when the carrot looks up at the sky, he sees the sun created by God that give him the warmth and give him the vitamin D that give him basically life. The sun is the source of the life of the carrot. And he probably looks on the sun as his God also, because it provides most of the defenses and the safety and security of the carrot. So if you take a simple principle that every living thing, every country, every living thing, whether it's animal, vegetable, or fowl in the air, it's has quite similar needs and quite similar threats come to it. So I named my writing Founder Church, because Founder is named after the founding fathers of America,
Right.
founding fathers and mothers. And
So that's very
church is an international symbol, a word in English that represents every religious type of interest of any person. So church, it basically is a word that means, stands for God. It's
Right.
God's house.
Right. I know that
So,
you have
that's
studied
what
the
I do.
Bible.
Hmm?
I know you have studied the Bible in depth. And so if I go on to Founder Church website, you will have a lot of articles turning individuals back to this is how God wants it.
Yeah,
So
health.
yeah.
The carrot wants to be healthy, otherwise he's not going to have any children. And the human being needs to be healthy, otherwise he's not going to have any children.
Right.
So health, I developed an acronym called CHEM, CHEM, which means good chemistry. It's abbreviation for chemistry. And so my use of the word chem is is to use it as an acronym: children, health, education, and money. The four things that the carrot needs, four things that every living substance on the planet need. They need children, they need to be healthy, both the children and the parents.
Right.
They need to be educated. You might say, well, how can a carrot learn anything? Oh, yes, he does. He learns quite a few things. And he uses them to defend himself and his children and his wife. Yes, there's sex in the carrot patch. There's the male and female seed, egg, and sperm of sorts. So the carrot so all of life tends to reproduce sexually. There's almost no life that reproduces in the old-fashioned bad way of just the asexual kind of replication. There's very little of that sort of life left on planet Earth, so that essentially we can say unisex. The planet was populated by one-sex animals who were unisex, who did not have the male and the female involved in their replication. So that proved to be an inefficient and bad way. So it's interesting that the Democrats want to go back to unisex among human beings. They're claiming that men can have children and that they could change the sexuality of females to male and male to females. And so it seems as though they're very regressive in their program, because that takes us back in evolution before nature and God invented sexuality. Everything was unisex in the universe, and it couldn't evolve, it couldn't advance it couldn't meet the needs of serving as God's creative mechanism. So that's okay. Now, say, just for example, that could be one podcast